There we go. Okay, we've reconnected. We've reconnected. That's gonna make the VODs all kinds of insane. I apologize. Hopefully you're still there. Hopefully everyone is still sitting tight. I really appreciate your patience. I'm not entirely sure what just happened there. Um, but yeah, my for some reason my internet uh reset itself. I don't know why. That doesn't usually happen very often, but yeah, I apologize about that. I apologize for the hiccup there. Um, if you're, if you're talking to the future, if you're watching the YouTube VODs, I'm sorry that you have to jump between multiple VODs because I don't believe that that Twitch will handle that all as one video. So sorry about that. Thank you for your patience. I'm still here. And that was very distracting and jarring, and now my train of thought is completely demolished, which is just super fun. All right. Anyway, anyway, we left off. We before everything exploded here. We were gonna start describing the details of this because we've kind of decided what is gonna be in this room. So I just always give a little bit of a sort of description that is good to read aloud. So we put in our red font here, what we don't read aloud, and then I always then put something that I can read aloud. Usually I'll just sort of ad lib and describe the room. But if it's the end of a session, a lot of times my brain kind of slows down and isn't handling it all particularly well at the end of a session, so I'll always put in a little bit of a description there that I can just read aloud so that I can default to that. So for this one, we'll say, let's take a look at our room again here. So this chamber is a pretty small one. So we'll say, let's see, this chamber, oops. Boy, I told you to be in black font again. Okay. This chamber is a small one, almost more of a large hallway than a small room. Exits to the east and south. Yeah. Exits to the east and south. Can be seen. Can be seen, but but there is little else to notice in this room as you enter it. And then what I'm going to do, so we've got the battle there, and what we'll do is, because we're going to predetermine whether players notice it or not, we'll just go ahead and say, suddenly you hear 4 loud thumps as 4 large spider-like creatures drop down from the ceiling and attack you. Boom, there we go. Bam, bam, bam. Battle music. Alright, and then for our treasure here, what I want to do is I'm going to put another DM note here, is what I want to do. So we're going to go to our red font here, and we're going to say DC 14 to notice the small chest tucked behind a grouping of rocks in this tunnel. Oh, there's one thing I needed to double check here. I need to check and make sure. Okay, so they'll have already found two of the 2 keys that they need to open the door. So there's 2 physical keys, and then this plays into what I talked about with the trap existing on the door here. Magical lock. So there's going to be some sort of magical spell there. And so what I think I want to do is have there be a spell that exists on the doorways that needs 3 components to dispel. They'll need the 2 keys, which they have, and then 1 person who can decipher and like answer a riddle or something like that. And if they fail, there's going to be some sort of really intense, extreme spell. I almost have half a mind to do a teleportation circle that will then be like if they answer incorrectly, will be activated and teleport them back to the very beginning of everything. I think that'd be really funny. But players would hate that; they'd be so mad. But I think that'd be really funny. I don't know. I'll ponder that one because that is a little extreme. But hey, you know, sometimes you gotta just give them a good old smack and let them know who's in charge again. All right. All right. Let's see here. So we'll just put that a little bit there. The reason I checked that right then was because I noticed that I had I remembered that there's quite possibly a need to put a specific key or something in a chest, but we don't need to do that. That's already been handled on previous floors. So we're gonna go ahead and just add a little note here and say, looking closely at the various rocks and stalagmites scattered around this room, you notice a lump among one of these stone groupings that doesn't match the rocks all around. A closer look shows you that it is a small chest. And then we'll let them open it. And now we're going to use our fabulous loot gen tool to figure out what's in it. I just need to check. I always set the value of the hoard, like the treasure hoard, to whatever the most difficult monster within that segment of the dungeon or the chapter will be. So for this one, our most difficult is a challenge rating 5. So we will go ahead and over here, we'll go to our loot gen tool here. We'll set it to the 510 because our most difficult is a challenge rating 5. It is a treasure hoard. So we roll our loot. So they're gonna find a lot of gems and a lot of coins, and that will make them very happy. 4403, 3 gold pieces, and then let's see here. That's a lot of gemstones. 14. I format this a little different. 14, 50 GP. GP valued gems, so that's 700 P in total. I do like to itemize my treasures. I don't always distribute them itemized. It depends on the group that I'm running and what they're interested in. But I always, when I'm writing my notes and creating a campaign like this, I always put the itemized version for these types of things. So that way I'm prepared if I ever do run this campaign for a group that does want to do that more detailed, specific, itemized treasure approach to things. They're not super common groups, but I like being prepared for them. And that might just be wishful thinking because I am someone who really enjoys a detailed, realistic campaign. They just don't happen very often because for it to work, you have to have an entire group on board with it, and it's hard to get an entire group of like 5+ people all willing to be like very serious voice acting, role playing for 4 hours straight during a session. It's hard to find a group of people that everyone is willing to do that. But they do exist, and I always hope. All right. So let's see. It's gonna be quicker. No, it's not. No, it's not because it like has all this extra detail that I don't want in there. So 1 jasper, 3 citrine. Jasper, 3 citrine. There's 3 onyx and 1 bloodstone. 3 onyx, and then 1 bloodstone. What else we got? 3 carnelian, 1 chrysoprase. 3 carnelian. Wait, hold on. How do you spell that? Carnelian, and then 1 of the chrysophase. Was that it? Chrysoprase. I don't remember how to spell it. Chrysoprase. That's what it is. So praise. All right, and then our last pretty rock is 2 quartz. 2 quartz. There we go. All right. So easy enough. Not a particularly complicated room, but not all of them need to be, right? So that's good. That's good. And now the last step is to decorate this room within our map tool. Anyone is looking at my maps here and liking the way they look, then I will let you know that this is Dungeon Draft that I'm using, and I am a big fan of it. I'm very happy with it. Always have a lot of fun using it. So if you're looking for a new tool for your D&D-ing, definitely recommend checking this one out. I'm just gonna try and build ourselves a bit of an outcropping here, and so we can kind of have it be. So I'm gonna grab a different one for it to stem out a little bit there, and we can tuck our chest down in there. But I'm gonna put a couple more around, just scatter them in places. Here, we'll do that just to mix that one up a bit. And then I feel like it just needs one more. Let's do this one. We'll just we can do it like that. There we go. That looks good. So we'll do that. And so now a lot of times with dungeons, so this is always kind of a debate I have with myself. So for this one, I put in torches and everything. And I kind of hemmed and hawed about that for this one because realistically there wouldn't be torches here. Not only because this has presumably oh, you know what? I just realized our music paused when everything kind of gave out. There we go. Let's get ourselves some music back going again. It's just awkward and silent there. I apologize for that. But yeah, realistically, this dungeon would not have any torches, and certainly they wouldn't be lit. I mean, lit torches in this dungeon is really the fresh apples in an ancient tomb in Skyrim conundrum. The problem is, as realistic as that is, players have a hard time when they cannot see anything at all. Even if that would be realistic, and playing online, the tool we use Foundry, combined with these maps, and it does a pretty good job. But sometimes handling dark vision and stuff is very clumsy, and that really bothers players. So I always sort of acquiesce and provide light sources in all of the rooms. With the understanding of, 1, it's more fun for the players, and 2, realistically, if we're going to talk about realistically, a group of adventurers would not forget to bring adequate torches and or ways to magically produce light. So there's really no required thing to do it, especially because ways of casting light don't really even have to use up any resources that are valuable in any way other than providing light. So it's not like I'm giving them a free pass to have an easier time in the dungeon that way either. So as much as I like it, from a realism standpoint, it's not an important part, and it makes my players happier to not have to worry about that. So instead, I just try to set it up atmospherically, so it's in this one, The lights are going to be more blue because we're in a cave, right? And that's what caves are. They're blue. At least that's what movies have taught me. So I just put a little bit of light there, make it atmospheric and thematic, because then the flip side of it is with these maps, having a good choice of how you structure the light and everything can really help add to the atmosphere of the rooms that you're trying to write. So there we go. That looks fine. It still looks cave-like and spooky, and that's really what matters. So that's what matters, spooking out my players. Oh boy. Alright, so we got that room all taken care of. We definitely got room for at least one more, or we got time for at least one more room, if not two. Not two. I'm really pleased with the progress we're making today. I mean, if I were writing silently on my own, I could have knocked out almost this whole floor as I was going, but I don't know, I just don't, that's not the point of streaming, right? Like, the point of streaming is to discuss and share ideas and stuff. So I'm quite pleased with how it's coming along here. So this room is going to have a trap here. And so here I want to iron out exactly what it's going to be. What program was I using? Oh, the map is with Dungeon Draft. I use Dungeon Draft for making the dungeon maps, and then its sister program, Wonder Draft, for making my my world maps and stuff. So like if you need a grid format like that, like your characters will snap to a grid and stuff, Dungeon Draft is the way to go. But if you're looking for just a more loose form map, Wonder Draft I love. And there are plenty of other options for either that are all just as good. That's just the one that I saw first and have been using and am quite pleased with. So those are the ones I use. But yeah, and definitely recommend them. Definitely recommend them. There are plenty of other programs worthy of recommending, but that's the one that I use and recommend. Not sponsored, but I should be. They should give me money. Give me money. I'm advertising a product. That's not. Yeah, no, they're not gonna. They wouldn't. Besides, I don't really even care. It's genuinely a good product, and I want them to use. Expensive or sub? It's a one-time payment for the base programs. I think for both of them combined, it's like $50. It's like Wonder Draft is like 30 and Dungeon Draft is like 20, I think, and that's like American dollars. So I don't know if that translates to your currency easily. Maybe you're American or not. I don't know. But it's a one-time payment. But they also do have a lot of like content packs, so you can like purchase additional resources and assets to go in there, so you can have more interesting stuff. I haven't purchased any, but I have thought about purchasing a lot of them. I always decide not to because I have other things that I'd rather put my money on, put my money towards right now in my life. But generally speaking, I find it to be very reasonably priced. And it is open source, so you can like figure out, you can like make your own assets and stuff for it as well. So, well, I don't know if open source is the right word for it, but like people will make their own assets and sell them, and so you could in theory do the same thing if you're of a mind to. All right, itchy nose. One of the biggest reasons I need to save up and get an actual mic so that I can like scratch my nose without looking like a dummy. Yeah, definitely worth checking out. Definitely worth checking out. All right, so I want this room to have some sort of magical trap, like on the door. So I'm gonna actually describe it first, and then we'll come up with a trap is and sort of describe that. So I just want to say, walking into this dark chamber, you see right away that you have reached your destination. A large ornamented stone door stands stoic and impressive on the north wall of this room. Two keyholes can be seen on the face of the door, as well as many lines of some sort of runic. Wait, no, runic. There it is. Some sort of lines of some sort of runic script. And then just to describe the room properly, exits to the east and west. Exits to the east and west are also found unguarded by doors or otherwise. So that way players know they can go out. So I want to do something with the runes there, and I kind of want to think about if there's a way that you can do it where it's they have to do some sort of history check or some sort of magical comprehend languages option, to understand exactly what the runes say, and the runes offer up a riddle that would allow players to figure out what the counter spell is, or the password, so that the magic circle, the runes themselves, are like a magic spell circle or something like that. So if anyone tries to open the door without having properly deactivated the lock, basically something bad happens to them, is sort of the idea that I have. And I'm trying to think about how we could skill check wise navigate that. And my first thought is, first off, this is going to be DM notes. So the lines of some sort of runic script arranged in a circle around the center of the door. I want to make sure and make that clear, so it's on the door. So I think that's good. Let's see here. So I kind of want to say the script is an ancient dialect of Dwarven that someone who speaks Dwarven could probably decipher. Decipher? I don't know how to spell. Oh no, it's with a C, isn't it? There it is. Yeah, because it's like cipher, but we're D-ing it. We're unciphering it. We're deciphering it. There it is. All right. Speaks could probably decipher well enough. I'm gonna say DC 12 to decipher. If player can explain how they are knowledgeable enough. I'm really doing horrible here. Are knowledgeable enough. I can explain how. Oh man, you can tell it's getting to the end of the stream because I'm struggling to type even basic things. Let's see here. Nice. Ancient doors are excellent. Ancient doors are so much fun because there's so much foreboding involved in an ancient door, right? The concept of a door that hasn't been opened for centuries, even if you think you know what's going to be on the door, there's on the other side, there's always that wonderment of will it be what I'm expecting? So I love a good ancient door. I try to not overuse them, but I do love a good ancient door. The players can explain how they are knowledgeable enough to try. We'll just do that. And then we'll say see the next bullets for how it works. And so what I want to do here is we're going to keep it in our DM notes here. The circle of script is a spell circle that will automatically react to anyone who tries to open the door without triggering the counter spell. So I want to do that. So my thought is like it'll say something like they have to do something specific or say something specific, and so they have to not only have to decipher what the script is saying, but then also understand what it's telling them to do. And so my thought is, like, I always like to have it be thematically appropriate, right? So if they're trying to get into the money, right, maybe like something that would like have to be spoken or done to prove to the dwarves that whoever's going in there is worthy of accessing this money, right? So I'm wondering if let's say, oh, what do you have? Lag is actually tied to an old tale. Box of symbols that are represented by figures in the. Oh, nice. Okay. All right. So yeah, I like that kind of concept where it's like the clues are kind of on the door itself. You know, I think that's fun. Gosh, how do I want to do this for them? Okay, so let's see here. We'll say Dwarven sense may enter. Dwarven sense may enter. Honest intent may leave. All others may perish. Just something really simple like that. And the idea here, and so this is something that I always try to do with like riddles if I can. There is no explicit right answer to this. There is only a riddle with clues, and I'm going to write down what I have in mind as the type of answer that I want. But the right answer is the one that a creative player comes up with that I think, yeah, that seems appropriate. They've got good logic to explain why that's the answer to it. And we'll do that. Like, sometimes you want to have a very specific answer to the riddle. But so for this one, Dwarven sense may enter, honest intent may leave, all others may perish. And so we'll say, I have in mind that players must describe what they want with honesty. So like they have to honestly say what they're after, and like if the and like it's magical, so it'll know if they're trying to lie. And so I have in mind must describe what they want with honesty. They must explain something that shows they are not trying to just loot the vaults. And then I'm also going to put I'm just going to put like note here. Note, try to remember that if they try to leave with too much gold, the door will lock and prevent them leaving until they drop the excess, right? So it's like if they try to then like pull a fast one and get a whole lot of extra money, well, the door's gonna be like, oh, I don't know, that's not how it goes. But that's kind of like the idea. So it's like Dwarven sense being like those who have the Dwarven culture in mind, or are not intending to harm the Dwarven city or something like that, because it's an inanimate door that isn't aware that the world ended a couple thousand years ago. So it's still trying to protect that, as if like the only people that should be accessing this are the dwarves who want to use that gold and that money for the sake of improving the Dwarven city, you know, through trade, through building, or whatever. And so that's kind of the idea I have. But then you just say it like that, you know, when you say that riddle, that sounds like delightfully vague, but like it'll probably still have a right answer, or at least so the players will think. So that'll be really good. I think that will work just fine. It doesn't have to be perfect, but we can do that. And then we'll say, if players do not adequately handle this riddle, I kind of want to just come up with like a specific thing rather than trying to find an existing spell circle type of thing. I just kind of want to come up with my own, and my idea is players do not adequately handle this riddle. The circle will prevent the door from opening, and it will magically glue the hand of whoever tried to open it to the door. Players can then only escape either by magical counter spells of some sort, or this doesn't need to be a separate bullet. It's gonna just all be one because there's only gonna be one extra note. It'll just be a continuation. Players can then only escape by magic of some sort, or by figuring out the riddle and answering it appropriately. So perfect. I actually really like that. I think that'll be a really good challenge for them. I think that's a good trap, and like the fact that it'll just like, it's like literally a trap. It tries to trap them there, and the concept is like, I like the fact that that will kind of force players then, if they try to just ignore it or think that the keys alone are going to be enough, it will like force the issue, and it will force them to figure it out. And that's one of the reasons why I don't want this riddle to have one specific answer. I don't want to put my players in a position where they have to succeed, but if they can't think about what my brain was coming up, then either they're stuck there forever, or I have to give it away and they still feel like they failed the riddle, right? So it's like, by doing it this way, we can trap and force the issue, which is probably going to happen anyway because they'll know they need to go through here to progress the storyline. But it'll trap and it'll force the issue, but then it will give enough freedom that them being creative is really enough. From like a meta standpoint, they just have to be creative, you know? And so it's like whatever they come up with as the answer, sort of that's like, that becomes canonically the correct answer, right? The correct solution to the riddle is the idea there. And I think that's actually really, really good. And I'm just going to put, actually, I don't even know that I want to worry about adding so much extra stuff here. We're just going to say lore, and we're just going to say the reward, and I'm going to put this actually in red as a DM note. And that's all we need. We don't need anything else. I'm going to say the reward is twofold. The reward is twofold. On one hand, they can learn a bit about the Dwarven culture by sifting through the vaults and encountering this particular trap. One hand they do that, and on the other hand, they have now gained access to the vaults and may find the key that they came here for. Boom. There we go. I think that's all we really need for this one. I think that's actually a really good setup there. I don't think this room needs a whole lot more, so let's just go ahead and decorate it now. Make it look nice and pretty. So first things first, we gotta come over here. We gotta actually make a door of some sort. And unfortunately, it's gonna be hard to make the door look particularly grand, but that's okay. I'm just gonna do like a big stone slab here. I want it freestanding. I don't want it anchored. because I'm just going to put it right here. Right, there's their door. Usually they anchor to the walls. Like usually when it's anchored, you have to like find not a cave wall, just like a standard constructed wall to put a door. But if you freestand it, you can put it anywhere. So we're just gonna put the door right there. And then, I don't know, maybe just some atmospheric. I guess we'll come over here. Oops, this one right here. I'm just going to, just to make it seem, you know, atmospheric and interesting, we'll throw some different outcroppings of stalagmites and stuff like that. That maybe, just like that, just to make it seem a little more interesting. That's good. And then we'll just do our torches again. Not exactly realistic, but functional, and sometimes that's the more important part, especially if that's what keeps players happy and enjoying the game. Not in a like, okay, whatever floats their boat, but like in a genuinely, I'm making this game to be enjoyed with my friends. I want to make sure it's enjoyable by my friends. So let's go ahead and do that. Don't need a whole lot of the torches really, just to make sure that there's some dim light around here. And that'll work right there. There we go. That's great. That's really great. Oh, I like it. Alright, I'm gonna hit save here. I'm gonna hit save because I'm looking at the time, and it's getting about time for me to do my customary. I'm gonna take like a 15-minute break, and then I'll be back. So I'm not done streaming. I'm not done streaming overall, but I am done streaming writing. So I'm gonna do just my little plugs on my social media, and then I'll take a break, and then I will be back in a little bit to be playing. We're gonna play some American Truck Simulator. It's Friday, so we're just gonna do some Friday joyrides here. But thank you to everyone who stopped by for the writing. I really appreciate you guys coming in. Definitely have a lot of fun doing this for you guys, and I'm really glad it's of value to other people. If you like what I'm working on and want to see me in other places, you can find all of the links that I'm about to mention on the About section of my Twitch page, so feel free to check that out. I do have a Discord. I try to put a lot of announcements about what's going on with my stream on Discord, as well as try to really interact with people there and discuss a lot of different homebrew stuff, a lot of D&D stuff, sharing memes every once in a while and stuff like that. So it's a small community, but it's growing and it's really fun. I really like it. So that one's there. If you want to see other stuff that I've written and worked on in the past, I put all of my VODs on my YouTube channel. So you can go find me, EnviroBoy, on YouTube. You can check out all the VODs there, as well as all the VODs of like past games that I played and all that kind of stuff. So I got that right there. If you just want the announcements but don't really use Discord at all, I do have a Twitter that I'm learning how to use. I'm really bad at Twitter, but hey, I know a lot of people like to use that one, and it's a really good place to just kind of like quickly shout out when I'm going live and announcements and stuff like that. So that's a good place. If that's how you prefer to get information about upcoming streams and stuff, then check that one out. I also have an Instagram. And I'm using that as sort of a way to interact and share some of the other things that I do that don't make it on stream. So I talk a lot about how I'm a kickboxer, a Muay Thai kickboxer. I am a rock climber and stuff. And so like I've got a lot of other stuff. I've got a cute one-eyed cat who is now on my lap. So I'm using Instagram to sort of share those other things that don't really have a place on stream, but people always seem interested when I bring them up. So if that's something that you think is fun, you can check that out. I'm really bad at Instagram, but I'm learning. I'm learning all of that. And then the final link that I'll mention is I do have set up a donation link. I never really imagined that I would be trying to make money off of this, and I still don't really consider myself trying to make money off of this, but I have had a lot of people asking, where they can donate, because I'm not an affiliate, so I don't get like the bits and the subscriptions and stuff like that. So I have set up a donation link. If you do want to contribute to my stream, my thought is anything that comes in via streaming will go back to the streaming. I'll use it to get better, like an actual mic, or a better camera, or use that so I can like get different tools for writing or gaming that we can like showcase, and I can kind of show them on stream so people can see a showcase and a sample of it and stuff like that. So if you want to, I would certainly be very appreciative, and I will make good use of it, but you are obviously not required to. But at any rate, those are all of my links. As far as streaming goes, like I say, I'll be back in like 15 minutes after a short break to do some gaming. And then that'll be it for streaming this week. Next week, I will largely be on my usual schedule, which is Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. I start at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and we write for a couple hours, and then at around 1:30 p.m. usually is when I switch over to doing some gaming and stuff like that. It's looking like next Tuesday, I will probably have to reduce, change, or cancel streaming, and that's next Tuesday again. I'm not quite sure. I know I have a work meeting, but I don't know exactly what that's going to end up entailing or evolve into. So stay tuned for that. Again, Discord or Twitter will be a really good place to get announcements on what's going on with that. Other than that, though, I should be here definitely for my normal streams Monday, Thursday, and Friday next week. So, okay. Whew. I think that's all of my plugs and my announcements. So I'm just going to, again, say thank you so much to everyone who joined. I really do enjoy streaming. I really do love talking about and sharing my methods of DMing and hearing what other people are up to. I just think it makes all of us better DMs and world builders and players to share all the stuff that we're working on. So thank you for stopping by. Thank you for checking out and showing interest in what I'm doing. It means a lot to me. And yeah, take care of yourselves. I'll be back, like I say, in just a short while. So stick around if you want to see me drive some imaginary trucks. Otherwise, I'll see you next week sometime. Either way, I appreciate you guys, and I will be back shortly. So I'm just going to put you on like a little... I'll put you on a waiting screen, and there'll be eventually a switch over because I love overlays, and I have a separate one for American Truck Simulator. But for right now, I'll let the music keep playing for you guys so you can kind of chill and listen to some chill beats while you wait for me to get back. So sit tight, and I will be back in not too many minutes.